You will not go to parties in Korea too many times before you realize that Korean party dishes without chapchae are unimaginable. Today, we will show you a very popular and common party dish, chapchae, and more about other vegetable dishes.
안녕하세요. Hi everyone, welcome to More Than Kimchi. I'm your host, Hwa Young-jung. Most of you probably know japchae already. Japchae is one of the most popular party dishes in Korea. Today, we're going to show you how to prepare japchae, noodles with meat and vegetable. Before I go any further, let's meet our chef, Mrs. Han Bok-sun. 선생님 안녕하세요. 오셔서 감사합니다. We also have Melanie Yoon as our guest here today. Hi Melanie, thanks for coming. Have you had japchae before, Melanie?
Yes, and I really like it. I'm looking forward to learning how to make it.
Wonderful. Now you know how to make it by yourself. Japchae literally means mixed vegetable. I'd like to show you the ingredients first. Let's take a look at the ingredients. Here we have, it's a noodle dish, so we have noodles called 당면. And as a vegetable, we have cucumber, carrot, onion, and two kinds of mushrooms, 표고버섯, Chinese mushrooms, or shiitake mushrooms. And these are called 목이버섯, or tree-ear mushrooms. And here another kind of vegetable, it's bellflower roots, we call 도라지. And we're going to use egg for garnish later. We also have a beef here. For seasoning, let's take a look at the seasoning. We have chopped onions, salt, chopped garlic, sesame seeds, sugar, vegetable oil, sesame oil, and the soy sauce. And I also have pine nuts. These will be used as a garnish later. So where shall we start?
예, 그럼 먼저 준비부터 하죠. 그러면은 우선 채소로 이렇게 세 가지가 있는데 이것도 채를 우선 썰어 보겠습니다.
So first we're going to start with vegetable, three kinds of vegetables, and we will make a julienne cut.
About how long do you want this piece of cucumber to be?
About 4 centimeters, or 2.5 inches. That looks pretty good. So three kinds of vegetables. We have cucumber and bellflower roots. These are called 도라지.
너무 쓰기 때문에.
And this has a little bit of bitter flavor. So what we did was we boiled in the salted water. So to take out a little bit of bitter flavor. And when you buy, they are a little thicker. So what you want to do is shred a little bit to about this thin. So these are 도라지 that we are using. So Melanie is cutting cucumber, and you're going to make strips, julienne cut, while Mrs. Han is doing the 도라지.
May I ask you a question about the toraji? This is one thing that I never have seen in the West. Could you substitute? It looks like bamboo shoots. Could you substitute that?
Well, the flavor is very different, but I'm sure you can substitute. And one nice thing about this dish is you use sort of any kind of vegetables you may have, because you're trying to combine the different colors. So for green, you have cucumber, and then you have yellow color with egg, and then carrots, and then white color with the onions. So you may substitute, other vegetable too. So if you don't have 도라지, you can substitute bamboo shoot. Is a very good substitute.
So you could even use spinach instead of the cucumber.
Sure, definitely, and celery. Sometimes I use celery too. So Mrs. Han is making 표고버섯. These are dried forms when you buy. So it's been soaked in water already. And we will cut the stems off. It's already cut, and then make a julienne cut. And if it's too thick, you make it kind of thinner.
Okay. Now, when you use those dried mushrooms, I noticed that you do cut off the stem. You never use the stem?
Stems you may use for vegetable broth sometimes, but we wouldn't eat it because it's kind of too tough to chew. So basically, we are not using the stems.
Oh, well, that's important to know.
And so you make julienne cut of the here mushrooms. You have cucumbers, and then we have 도라지 here. Put mine over there too. So these are the the 목이버섯 tree ear. Is kind of funny to you, but tree ear. It looks like an ear. So tree ear mushrooms called 목이버섯. And you have to be careful when you soak it in water. The size is about 5 times bigger. So make sure you use just a little amount in water.
I've seen those in the Oriental section of the supermarket or in Chinese
very
groceries.
Black, right. We use that a lot. And you soak it in water and make sure you clean both sides and take off all the sand if you see there any.
Do you want me to cut the onion?
Yeah. We need a little bit more cucumber.
Oh, okay, more cucumber, more cucumber.
So we have two kinds of mushrooms ready here. Melanie is cutting the cucumber, and next Mrs. Han is preparing the beef. These are beef, and the same as other vegetable, you are cutting as strips, very thin strips.
이제 소스를 만들게요.
And next we are making a beef seasoning sauce. So you have soy sauce, 간장.
100g에 대해서 한 큰술이면 되겠어요.
So 100g of beef, you will just use 1 tablespoon of the soy sauce.
하나 작은
And then 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, chopped garlic, half tablespoon, and half tablespoon of chopped onion, sugar. So basically these are almost the same as bulgogi seasoning. We are using it for meat seasoning, and sesame seeds, some pepper, and that's it.
Yeah.
So these we are using on beef and the mushrooms.
Yeah.
It's called beef seasoning.
I have a question for Mrs. Han. I've seen pre-chopped garlic in the grocery store in jars.
Yeah.
Is that good? Can you use that?
빨리 이거는 상하지가 않아요.
Those, she said, doesn't get spoiled, and for busy housewives, they're perfect.
Okay.
So you can buy it in a refrigerator section. So we mix the beef with the seasoning sauce. And while Melanie is cutting the cucumber, would that be enough? Shall we make a little bit more?
예, 이제 그걸로 충분하고 소금 뿌려서 절여놔 주시면요.
Okay. After you finish, that will be enough.
Okay.
After you finish that, you just dump it here. So these julienne cut the cucumber, we're going to sprinkle a little bit of salt for a while and put a little bit more water. So the purpose is we want to take out the liquid. Later we'll squeeze out the liquid, and salt helps to do that here.
그다음에 당근도
Okay.
마찬가지로
And carrot, this also looks like your job.
정도.
About this much. So you will make the same julienne cut, excuse me, as other vegetable. Maybe I'll cut some of Melanie's carrot stick here.
I'm afraid that Koreans are much faster than we are in this julienne cutting.
And I'm sure, you can make it slightly thicker. But important thing is you make the size all uniform. This, shall we use that bowl over there? And I'll dump mine there too. So here we have carrots, and Mrs. Han has here those onions. It's the same cut. Melanie, can you see the vegetables?
Yes,
all
yes, it's all the
uniform
same size.
and different colors. So onion and toraji here we have. So these we will put the vegetable seasoning. The difference is we use soy sauce for these, but for this we'll use salt instead of soy sauce. So toraji with the sesame oil and salt. And then the pan is getting hot.
Yeah.
Shall we turn this side too?
Okay. All right.
So I'll
구워지면은 이제 하얀 거부터 볶기 시작해요.
So when you stir fry, it's important to start with the light color. That way you preserve the color. So here we have beef and other vegetables, but we will start with the lighter color vegetable.
So you don't put them all together like they do in Chinese food?
No, you always cook separate. And one of the reasons is we want to preserve the color. And the cucumber that we had sprinkled with salt and water, now it's all squeezed out. The liquid is out, and it makes the texture very crunchy later.
Okay.
Shall we start with the cucumber together? Oh, okay. So what we do is now we put a little bit of vegetable oil. And when the pan gets hot, we'll stir fry. Shall we mix the carrot and this together? Or separate? Separate.
Separate. And a little salt on the carrot?
Yes. So there's toraji there. So we don't have to cook too long. We want to cook it in a high flame in a short time, so that way you preserve the, the crunchiness inside. So you do the carrots first, and then cucumber. We don't have to put any salt because we sprinkled salt before, so we wouldn't need that. So we'll do onions. And that one, we can grab the fish there. And let's put that
about enough?
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Really under a minute then?
Right. So that's why high flame is important. That way, you want to cook only the outside and preserve the crunchiness inside.
And I guess it's also important to use just a small amount of oil because everything's being fried
exactly
here.
Right. And then we'll dump this afterwards.
Okay.
Cook this one, the cucumber. Squeeze out all the water.
It's been squeezed.
It's been squeezed, the water.
그래서 볶은 다음에 식혀줘요. 펴서.
Yeah. And one thing that's important with vegetable, once you stir fry, try to let it cool down. Otherwise, you cannot preserve the color.
Ah, okay.
So instead of keep it green, after you stir fry, we'll spread it and let it cool off a little bit.
Spread it onto a large plate.
이게 잔치 음식이었기 때문에 많은 양을 하기 때문에 이렇게 우리 옛날부터 나누어서 했던 거예요.
Yeah. And one of the reasons, you cook it all separate is because these are always for party, and you cook large amount. So by cooking one ingredient at a time, you can, the result is you have a whole lot of food.
And you don't overcrowd the pan.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's one reason we also, many different good reasons you cook separate. So now it's the beef, it's the mushrooms, two kinds of mushrooms we are cooking.
이제 펴요.
Right. And the reason you are mixing two mushrooms is because 목이버섯, as you cook, they sort of pop, like popcorn. By mixing two different kind of mushrooms, you can prevent it.
Oh.
Is that, see, like popcorn?
I can hear it.
Yeah. So by mixing two, mushrooms, you can maybe prevent a little bit.
그다음에 다 볶았어요.
Yes.
이제.
So let's pass our work here.
Whoa, one just popped right out of the pan.
So shall I mix it here? The vegetable, carrot here, and the cucumber. So we have all 4 different kinds of vegetable here. And the final cooking is the beef. I'll pass that to you over that side.
지난번에 지단 썰어보셨죠?
Yeah.
저거 4cm로 한번 썰어주시면 된단 말입니다.
And these are egg crepes that's already cooked, egg white, egg yolk separate. So I'll pass you one. You cut it same as this julienne cut.
Now this is easy.
Yes.
조금 길었네.
Is it too long? Shall we cut it this way? Yeah.
I can cut it in half when I'm all finished.
Then might be too short, Melanie. So we have egg white and egg yolk. This we will use with the food, and also we will use later as a garnish. Okay.
그다음에 이제 이거 당면 좀 소개해.
Yeah. Right.
질려놨다.
And these are the noodles, the main ingredients
30분
called
정도.
당면. 당면 is not made of flour. It's made of sweet potato starch or mung bean starch.
And they have kind of a distinctive gray
distinctive
color.
gray color, and it's the texture is very different when you chew. So later you can perhaps describe how you feel about this, noodles.
Again, now this will be something that we're going to find hard to find. Could you substitute? They look a lot like glass or cellophane noodles.
Yes, definitely.
So again, the things you find in the supermarket, you can substitute.
Sure. So we made it a little shorter. And this, there are 2 ways you can prepare 당면. One way, you boil it very briefly, or you soak it in water and stir fry.
Okay.
So you can do 2 ways. You can boil it instead of stir fry, but when you stir fry, the noodles actually gets a lot more, how would you say, chewy?
Okay.
The texture is very nice.
More of a chewy texture.
Chewy texture, and it doesn't absorb the liquid too much.
I know what you mean, because
So you
sometimes when you just boil them, they have a real slippery texture.
Slippery, and also it tends to absorb the liquid from the vegetable. But by stir frying, you can prevent that a little bit, and it stays a lot firmer and sort of chewy. Chewy kind of sounds funny for noodles, but we really like that kind of texture when you chew. So that's,
물기가 있는 것이 좋겠죠, 할 때.
And because it's not cooked, you have a little bit of liquid on the pan when you stir fry. That way, it does need to be a little bit cooked.
That's why she put it in like that without draining it
That's
so
right.
much.
Yeah. So you need a little bit of liquid to make it softer.
Well, I've tried this before, and I think that's what I was doing wrong. Was I didn't have that liquid
Because
in
you can tell this noodles how hard they are. See how thin and hard. Very. easy to break.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard, so
Yeah.
you need some liquid to cook it to make it soft. But that's what Mrs. Han is doing here.
다 간은 조금씩 싱겁게 해야 나중에 또 맞출 거니까.
And important thing is, we cook all ingredients separate and season separately. So it's very important not to make it too salty.
Okay.
Because you are putting salt or soy sauce all, separately.
So Mrs. Han is cooking this in sesame oil?
And soy sauce.
And soy sauce.
And sesame seeds.
Okay.
파마늘은 단지 고기에만 넣었어요.
So we have before green onions and the garlic. Those are only for the beef. The rest you are not really using the strong flavor.
모든 게 다
So that's
쳐졌거든요.
pretty much done.
여기에 이제 양념을 갖다 뭘 하는가 하면 여기에다 나중에 맛을 본 다음에 간장하고 참기름하고 이제 깨소금.
So I mentioned to you, you are not putting too much of those soy sauce or those things. The reason is after you combine everything, you want to taste it and then you adjust the flavor later. So she will put a little bit more sesame oil, sesame seeds, and perhaps a little bit, soy sauce if you want to put more.
Could you even add raw garlic or onion at this point?
No. Because those are only for cooking the beef.
Okay.
그 파마늘 냄새가 생것이 나면 안 좋으니까.
Because raw green onions and garlic have a strong flavor. So you only use for seasoning of the beef.
여기다 다 섞은
Just a
다음에
little bit, just a little bit.
조금씩 넣고요.
We'll preserve a little bit for
That's
garnish.
really pretty. You said at the beginning that it was a common dish in Korea, but I think if you serve this for Westerners, it would seem very special.
It is, it is very, and even for Koreans, I don't think we will make it every day because it does take quite many ingredients and take time to chop, but it will be a nice special dish maybe on Sunday or something like that. But it is quite easy to make, in spite of all the different ingredients.
It's really just the chopping.
Yes, that's right. It's a nice color too. And see, the shape of noodles are different from those flour noodles. Shall we use hands? Or?
And they have you can even see as it comes out of the pan, a real springy quality.
Yes. And you will know what I mean once you taste later.
That's lovely.
Yeah. Let's just put it there. We will use those
Can I
egg
put some white ones on?
Yes. And then the pine nuts I introduced to you before, that we use as a garnish. Would you like to sprinkle a little bit of the pine nuts too? Looks wonderful.
That's
wow.
really sweet.
First
Very nice.
class chapchae here. So what do you think?
I think it's marvelous. I'm really looking forward to trying it.
Did you find anything that's kind of difficult or?
Well, some of the ingredients are going to be hard to find, but as you explained to me, I can substitute quite easily. So
That's right,
I don't see anything to be a problem about this at all.
So you've all tasted chapchae before. Now you get to make it at home. So I'd like to show you the whole procedure one more time.
Koreans are great namul eaters. They eat all kinds of vegetables, herbs, and young sprouts of trees prepared in all kinds of manners. Japchae is also one variation, mixed with noodles. Now, let's see the variety of Korean namul or vegetable dishes. Every namul in Korea has a unique flavor and taste which arouse people's appetites. And no people have more enjoyed these vegetable dishes than Koreans. They often grow many vegetables in the front or backyard and enjoy many seasonal vegetables. Sometimes Korean housewives think about color combinations. So sukju or mung bean sprouts, shikumchi or spinach, and gosari or bracken are often prepared together. And these three-color namul are placed on ceremonial tables to honor the ancestors. In Korea, you can easily meet the housewives who are preparing many kinds of namul or vegetable dishes like this. When you prepare namul dishes, you should blanch vegetables first, as she is blanching sukju now. And this is because when the vegetables are blanched, their texture is much softer. After these vegetables are blanched, sukju and shikumchi are seasoned with salt, sesame seeds, sesame oil, garlic, and green onion. As a low-calorie food, sukju is said to lower fever and fight poisons, and also be good for pimples. Shigumchi is also loved by Koreans, which is renowned all over the world. It is rich in calcium, iron, and vitamin A, B, and C. Gosari, which is pan-fried with seasonings, originates from Buddhist monks' diets. It cleans the blood and the mind. So Koreans in old times ate gosari to relax. Moreover, it is rich in calcium and minerals. And the new shoots of gosari are usually picked in the spring and are blanched, dried, and stored. So this is a dish which you may serve all year round. These three-color vegetable dishes are the most common and the most important namul dishes in Korea. Koreans enjoy all kinds of seasonal vegetables at every season. In summer, gogumasun, hobak, and gochutnip are used for namul dishes. Koreans have loved these namul dishes because of the unique flavors. Koreans have used the stems of sweet potato, or gogumasun, as well as sweet potato. Before the sweet potato ripens, they enjoy the light and fresh taste by using gogumasun in namul dishes in summer. Koreans use also hobak or zucchini in namul dishes, which is highly nutritious and rich in vitamins A, B, and C. But this time, not the leaves but the fruit. They cut hobak into strips or half slices and fry them. Gochu or green peppers are grown to be used for the spice or seasonings. But Koreans have also used gochutnip or green pepper leaves in namul dishes. Now let's see how we make gogumasun and hobak namul. Having been cleaned, the stems are peeled to reveal the soft center, and the leaves are cut off because they are tough to eat. And Koreans use the stems of sweet potato. They are then cut into pieces 2 or 3 inches long. Then they are stir-fried with salt, sesame seeds, sesame oil, garlic, and green onion. In summer, there are many namul dishes fried like this. Hobak or zucchini is cut into half slices and fried, and then dressed with fermented shrimp and sauce, flavored with soy sauce, garlic, sesame seeds, and red pepper powder. It is said that when you fry hobak, you can preserve the nutritious value very well. As you can see, Koreans have enjoyed all kinds of seasonal vegetables and have developed a great variety of vegetable dishes. Now we are going to experience one Korean namul dish, Chapchae.
I mentioned before, Chapchae is for party. Look how festive it looks.
It's really
looks
beautiful.
very nice. Let's start.
네, 먼저 우리는 손님께 먼저 권하거든요. 항상 먼저 드셔요.
So Mrs. Han offers you first because we always start with the guest
Thank
and
you.
you are the guest here.
One thing I like about chapchae is that the julienne pieces that I cut that were far too big, you can stuff them into the middle and just put the pretty ones on the outside.
I think that's a very good advice for this dish.
You know, I've lived in many foreign countries, and you have something like chapchae almost everywhere.
That's right.
In Indonesia, where I lived, they had chapchae, and in China, they have chop suey.
Very similar. Yeah, and some dishes I've noticed, they don't really use noodles because chapchae literally means mixed vegetables.
Yes, the Indonesian one doesn't have noodles.
How about Chinese one?
우리도 궁중 잡채는 고기 이제 채소를 많이 넣어요.
Oh, I see. She was mentioning palace-style chapchae. You don't use noodles. Use more vegetables and different ingredients. So noodles perhaps was it's an addition later on.
Okay, well in the Chinese one, which they say was actually invented in San Francisco,
Is that right?
they use flour noodles, and sometimes they fry them till they're crispy. So it's interesting because these are so chewy, and others are slippery and crispy. You can do anything.
That's right. And for me, I cannot imagine chapchae without noodles because that's very distinctive, you know, characteristics of these noodles.
It's also the tastiest part.
Yes.
Oh, I have a question. This seems like it would make a wonderful vegetarian dish. Do you have to use the beef?
빼도 돼요.
빼도 되고.
딴 걸로는 뭐 파란색이면은 뭐 미나리나 지나면 썼죠. 시금치나 이렇게 푸른색은 푸른색대로.
Sure. Yeah. You don't really have to use meat. You can use other vegetable, or sometimes you can use mushrooms, because mushroom we use it as a seasoning, you know.
And you put it in the same as the beef seasoning.
Sure, right.
That would be great.
Yeah. And she suggested even broccoli. And then green pepper, those would be a nice addition as a vegetable part if you really want to make the whole thing.
It sounds like you could just look in your refrigerator and pick some things out and make yourself some
right,
chapchae.
That's right, that's the idea.
Well, let's try it.
So these, you know, noodles, the reason you get this texture is because it's made of starch. So mostly it's sweet potato or mung bean starch. That's why you get this cellophane. Clear noodles.
Wonderful, and the texture is nice.
So you think you're going to try at home? Not difficult.
I think I'm going to try it tonight.
Yes.
You know, I think just about every country loves noodles. Of all the dishes we've done, I'd say this is the perfect international food.
Wonderful. And the texture, you know, as I mentioned before, I don't know whether you will use the word chewy with noodles, but this is perfect situation. You have to say chewy noodles.
These are chewy noodles.
Very nice.
And everything else is crisp, so it's really nice.
Very nice. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe and found it helpful. Why don't you prepare chapchae for your next party and experience one of the most popular Korean dishes. I'd like to thank Mrs. Han for coming today. 선생님 감사합니다. And thank you, Melanie, for joining me.
Welcome.
And I promise to be back here with another great recipe on More Than Kimchi. Until then, 안녕히 계세요.
Yeah.